The way that we have learned how to apply AI tools to the business is when they said run the business with agents. So the first thing is I really wanted to create an agentic team, right? So I started creating agents. Like I have one that just does email copywriting, and one that just does YouTube captions, and one that just does email automation, and one that just does digital product innovation. And he thinks through like the direction in the roles and responsibilities is think like an MIT graduate who just works on new digital innovations that makes people's lives better, right? And we have one that's a long form writer, and we have one that is just a virtual assistant, calendars, reminders, checking on what's in the news. And all of that is important to an agency, but also as an entrepreneur. Human capital is very expensive. So if you've ever tried to launch a business, each person, you know, especially the most valuable players, that's a lot of investment, right? And you don't get to see your return immediately. What I feel like it's such a great time to be alive and a great time to be an entrepreneur because you get the opportunity to take advantage of these innovations right now where if you look at public relations, does anybody have any PR friends in the building? So spreading the word. There was a time when publicists would be standing over a fax machine all day, faxing out a piece of paper that had all these announcements and dates, all right? And then it was like, okay, now I can just email this out. Okay, great, but now we just can have, feed the information in, and like using your agents is not as simple as what I am saying right now because I don't have enough time to go into it. But the reason why I launched SB Enterprises was because 135 focuses a lot on serving the needs of the billion-dollar businesses, right? Like Apple and NBC, Peacock, and Netflix and Disney. But SB Enterprises just focuses on the needs of entrepreneurs that are toiling all day long, having a high impact in their community, job creating, and they're so busy doing that they never work on the things that are going to grow the business. And so I have an AI automation for entrepreneurs course that my students come into, and I deal with everything from, you know, this resistance you have because you still think that there's a thing called privacy, and I deal with how do you use this to build the right infrastructure in your business so that it frees up your time to grow the business. So I mean, I'm looking forward to this conversation, but you know, it's a fun thing. I feel so lucky to be able to experience all that AI tools can help us with, whether it's perplexity, for deep thinking. Everybody knows about ChatGPT or Gamma for producing proposals. I mean, it's just an amazing time.
This is an amazing time. Before I introduce myself, I just kind of want to see who's in the room. How many of you are currently using any form of artificial intelligence? By show of hands. Oh, great. Okay. How many of you have not yet used AI, or you're choosing not to? Okay. All right. I see you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm Melanie Mack, and I am the founder and CEO of Codega Media. We are a full-service multimedia company specializing in below-the-line talent. We provide infrastructure to companies that are seeking to hire post-production supervisors. Our flagship is our production assistant training. We do audio engineering. Anything that's below the line, we are providing that service with vetted candidates to all of the studios and networks, post houses, etc. We also have AI literacy, and I've been using artificial intelligence now for probably 7 to 10 years. I initially started with just things like a note taker, being in board meetings, sitting on boards, and I found that incredibly helpful because I'm someone that likes paper and you know, my notebook. And so using something like Fireflies, which I absolutely love, was very helpful in terms of just converting information, having a transcript. At this point with my business, I'm using things like ChatGPT, Anthropic, Claude. I'm using Lovable, Gamma, many of the tools that are available. And the way I use them in my business and with my team, we're a small company. We have about 11 people on staff. And everyone, it's a requirement, everyone on my team has to use artificial intelligence. It accelerates our work. I've been in this business for 30 years. I still have all the knowledge that I have, but the speed at which I'm able to work I've never seen anything like this in my entire career. It is a game changer. And in terms of how I'm using it in my business, I use it to search for partnerships, for example. So I have agents that look for partnerships that are specific to my business. I look for funding. Anyone need capital in this room for your projects? This year, just Q1, I booked $150,000 personally, just for myself, using artificial intelligence, where it's searching for different deals that would be, ideal for me or ideal for my company or a client that I'm working with. I'm trying to think. So emails and things like that, I don't use it for, writing an email, composing an email, but I'm looking for things like, I'll have a board. I have something that I call a council of visionaries, where I have different skill sets and people that I admire from all over the world. And I'll go into council of visionaries and say, I'm thinking about this particular project, and I'd like to get your thoughts on what my strategy should be. Here's how I'm thinking about it. What are your thoughts? And it will come back to me with what those people would tend to say, and just give me because some things I can't discuss. All of us as the CEOs, you can't always discuss everything with your entire team. And, unless I'm talking to my therapist or someone, there are just some things that are private. And so I love to go into some of those programs, and that's what I use it for. I search for, I have one agent that only does grant proposals. So it would take me, I've been writing grant proposals for 20 years. It would take me months to do research, to write the proposal, to pull all of the pieces together that are needed. Now I can find something, or my agent will find it, and I can just drop it into one of the platforms. 2 minutes, it will tell me if it's a fit for my company. And less than 10 minutes, write the proposal, and I'm sending it out, and I'm funded. So if you're not using it, I'm happy to see that most of the room, 98% of you are using some form of AI. Again, this is a time for us to be in this space. It's important for us. It's important, especially when we're always vying to have a seat at the table. This gives you that seat at the table. This removes gatekeepers. This is the greatest disruption. My first business was a .com in the 90s. And with that business, I was able to raise $1.5 million. And at that time, I was pitching the concept that people would watch content on their computers. And when I went around to venture capitalists, different VCs, I met with 30 of them all over the country. Everyone said, Melanie, this is a stupid idea. What makes you think that people are going to watch content on a computer? A computer is designed and you work. You use it to do your work. And I said, I can see it coming. I know that this is going to happen. Every single venture capitalist, people that are supposed to be smarter than you, etc., everyone said no. There were 2 investors that believed in me, and they were the absolute last meeting that I took, and they funded me for $1.5 million because they believed in me. So when I talk about what we're able to do now, it's just, please don't buy into the hype of, this is not for us. This is for us. I remember when Google launched. I'm giving my age away, but I remember when Google launched. I remember when Yahoo launched. I remember when YouTube launched. When Google launched, the narrative was, oh, if you're using Google, you're cheating. You shouldn't do research. You shouldn't look things up on Google. You need to get an encyclopedia. You need to go to the library. Well, if that's your mentality today of I'm going to do it the hard way, the long way, there are people that are going to pass you up so quickly. People that don't even have the skills in this room on this panel that that can log in, right? And that can log in and use one tool and surpass the work that you're doing. So if you're not in it, I encourage you to get involved.
Thank you, ladies. I mean, the experience and the expertise that they all have is really great. So I would love for each of you, and Melanie, you talked a little bit about some of the tools you use, because I think a lot of us know the ChatGPTs, we know the Claudes, but is there one particular tool that you would recommend everyone try or use that has really helped you change your business process?
Wow, that's a hard one because I've used over 500 AI tools and I get to beta test new ones before they come out. So sometimes I feel I live in parallel worlds because I know what everybody else is using and I know it's coming out in 2 to 3 years. But I would say for what everybody else can access right now, I think that Claude, out of a lot of the what we call like large language models, LLMs or Gen AI tools, generated AI tools, I would say Claude is one of the ideal ones that is still affordable, where you can utilize building out your own AI agent for some of these low level tasks. So when we're talking about here, reading my emails, drafting up the emails for responses for me, and then you just have to wake up and look at the drafts and edit it how you want to, and then send them out. There's some low-hanging fruit type of things for those who get a lot of requests for meetings, and you are sort of acting like your own assistant. Use Claude, the AI agent is called the co-work Claude version. You can also use the Claude chat version, but there is some of these things do have memberships and subscriptions, but Claude is I would say one of the most advanced ones for the price. The $100 a month membership or subscription, pretty much you can have a good access of an AI agent to just get started. So I would start there. And it's just basically like a more advanced version of ChatGPT. What we call chat bots, you're just chatting with it, you're texting with it, it's giving you information back. When we're talking about an AI agent, it now does it for you. So not only are you chatting with it and saying, hey, can you find me this information? What turns it into an AI agent is when it goes and actually does the task for you afterwards. So you're not just asking, what are the restaurants that are open for me to go have a baby shower with my family? After it does that, that's just chatting back and forth, that's a chat bot. Then when you go, okay, now let me know which of them are available, what's the rates, and then go make me a reservation. That now turns it into an agent because it's now doing it for you. So I would say going from like a chat GPT where you're really just getting the information and graduating yourself to utilizing an AI agent, that's the best affordable on the marketplace right now, I would say is Anthropic's Claude. Okay, that was really hard for me, you guys. I know so much that I want to tell you right now, but that's one of the winners.
So for me, coming from the space of pitching your project, raising the funds, going out there and shooting the film, and then being able to deliver it. For me, I like GenSpark, and that's one of the tools that I use. I know it's kind of comparable to Gamma, which seems like it might have a better marketing behind it, but GenSpark, I like it because, if I have to put together a pitch deck in a matter of 10 minutes, y'all. I mean, I have a book out on pitching, okay? That will hold your hand the whole pitch process, but GenSpark will build your deck for you in, less than 10 minutes. So you prompt it and you feed it exactly what you want. If you want to have photos in there, you can still customize it. You can feed it anything that you feel like is going to be helpful, and it's going to, you can say, hey, listen, I need for this to be extremely short. I need for this to only be tight of 3 to 5 pages. If not, it might carry on and it might give you 15 pages of a deck. But who's really going to look, all at that? I think now short is best. Gamma as well is doing extremely well. I mean, I like Gamma. I just did a budget for Heartbeat for a client, that delivered a whole entire gamma pitch deck and was able to get greenlit because Heartbeat said, this is Heartbeat Production, Kevin Hart's production company, and they never seen a deck that had movie visuals embedded. So you're looking at the deck and you're looking at the person, and then it would come alive. So the person would come alive and start doing a full action and will start talking as well while after you have scrolled down the PDF, right? I mean, of course, it's all linked to HTML, but however, it came alive. And so it was very exciting. So more visuals now are better than black and white. So I've steered away from black and white because, I mean, we love to read, but we don't be reading, okay? We don't be reading the way we need to be reading. So that's one of the things. I've also done several films that have gone directly to television networks. I have one that we just delivered for, it aired for Christmas on BET Plus, which will now go into the algorithm of Paramount. But I actually, needed to get, this was a performer, and it was a lead performer, and I needed to get some, some more audio from them. And I knew it was gonna cost me, right? Meaning I would have to call the actor's agent, I would have to bring them back in. The actor was really, really good at just saying, hey, I record it really quick on my phone. That's how now we'll do the short term of ADR. And that was fine. We did that twice, but it did not match the scene, even though I sent the actor the scene. However, I went into 11 Labs and I cloned his voice. And when I tell you, voila, it took me less than 20 minutes. And my post-production supervisor said, how did you get him to do it and match? And I said, I didn't. I did it myself. So, 11 Labs is a great Audible tool that you're able to use. You can develop songs from there as well. With that same film, it was all of a musical. And so we ended up using AI to actually write the entire song that Kenny Lattimore sung, and we said, hey, do you know this is the AI scripted song? And he didn't mind, and it was all arranged on AI, even the music. So, you find these great tools, 11 Labs is great, so go ahead and take a look.
Thank you, Nita. Okay, so I'm always thinking through the lens of entrepreneurs in general, but also those who are on the marketing, communications, PR side of a film, right? Because I've experienced that for the last 20 years. So I would say that if this was my AI automation course for my entrepreneurs, I would say the top 5 that I cannot live without every single day is ChatGPT, of course, just in general, right? And I have a business account, but I think that a lot of times for entrepreneurs who don't have a lot of time to dig deep into AI all day because they're satisfying their clients and their customers and they're managing a team, they need something they can understand and don't have time to, become a researcher. That's one. Claude, for sure. Because you want a better, more well-rounded, deeper thought answer where you don't feel like everyone got the same answer. Perplexity also for deep thinking and research projects. And then when you're talking about marketing and communication and having to spread the word about film, I am big on ManyChat. I use it every single day for all of my Facebook and Instagram because when you're putting something out there, you don't have time to respond to every single person. This helps you to actually draft a message that you want to get out to everyone and welcome them in to just take a step further. So definitely ManyChat, and so many on this one. Also Replit. Replit and Lovable.dev, I feel like are for those of us who are constantly trying to create SaaS tools, software as a service, right? So for me, it's not every software is going to blow up and become big software that you cash out on with an IPO for $1 billion, right? Some tools are just great for a certain segment, a community, a class, a course, and so I am big on making tools that my students can use, and literally, Replit, you are just talking to it and telling it exactly what you need. I need this. for my community of film students, for my community of journalists. Whatever it is that you need, you tell it, and this is what I need to make people's lives easier, to make this experience smoother. And what you get back, whether it's building a website or whatever, it's just, again, it just makes me excited to be alive right now and able to use these tools. But I do want to just send one big caveat. Did I give y'all 5? I said ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, ManyChat, Lovable.dev, Replit, and Gamma, for sure, for proposals and deck writing. I have one business for something that I literally just did a brain dump and was like, now give me this and these types of visuals, and spit out something, and one business, and was stunned because I expected them to be like, oh, we've seen this from everybody. And I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I was like, okay. So I think that, you know, some of the technological advancements will stun you because you're like, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm always worried that this was just too easy because we were sold the hustle till you die, hard work, grind. So when something is simple and easy, you're like, that was too easy. But it's literally a reprogramming because we had to do everything the hard, long struggle way, and getting a one-way ticket off the struggle bus. And that's what I'm always interested in. How do I get off the struggle bus with this particular thing and automate it? Automation is like my theme for the year. But I do want to just say, no matter what tool you use, if you're looking for a quick fix or for it to think for you, you are going to waste your time, right? It still has to be all of your intellectual property. You only get an AI agent that can help you if you explain to it how to help you. If you put in, it takes me 3 or 4 hours to build an agent, because I am going into, I don't even name it or give it the face and all that until the end. First, I'm spending all day long on how I want you to think. That's at least 1 or 2 hours. Ask me all the questions you need to ask me about what I'm looking for so I can tell you how to think. And then after I tell it how to think and who it is and define their experience, you're from Harlem, you graduated from Harvard with a degree in blah, 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 and you've had 20 years of experience writing for New York Times, whatever it is. Then you go into roles and responsibilities. So important, because if you don't do it, it's just going to grab from the same pool of information it's giving anyone who doesn't put any effort in. So then you are getting what everyone else is getting. And if you don't want to get what everyone else is getting, because that will not help you, you have to spend time building whatever kind of AI tool it is that you're going to use. And that's for all of them. So I just want to make sure that I say that.
So I'm thinking 5 tools that I use daily, or ChatGPT, or just So ChatGPT for sure. ChatGPT, any platform that you're using, get the paid version. Invest in yourself. I believe that. No one's going to invest in you if you're not willing to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. At least get the $20 version. ChatGPT, I use it for things like, there was a time where, you know, I'm getting all of the trades, right, for the industry. I'd have to sit, just carve out time on a day, like maybe if that's my entire morning where I'm reading and seeing what's going on in the industry. Now, I will simply say, I have an agent that I created that will give me, I will say, summarize what's happening in the industry and how does it impact my business? How is it impacting my competitors? And it will give me all of the top stories, and you know, it saves me so much time doing that. So that's one way. I use it for so many things. Also, you need to train it. You have to train it on your voice. That takes time. You have to train it on your voice, how you write, your thinking. Otherwise, as Shante said, it is just going to spit out generic things. Claude is wonderful for proposals, reports, making money. I mean, all of these things will make you money. I also use Lovable.dev. I'm trying to think, there's so many. Actually, there's so many great ones. Perplexity is wonderful. And I probably shouldn't share this story, but I'm going to share it anyway. A friend of mine came to me, and she was working with a public defender, and was just really displeased with, you know, what was happening in this court case that she was dealing with. And so she shared some personal details with me, and I asked her, I said, do you mind if I run this through, you know, some of my platforms? Sure. I did that, sent her some information. She took that to her public defender, and they asked her, they said, did you hire a private attorney? She won her case, but I put everything in. I literally ran it through chat, Claude, and some other programs, and put together, I said, has he looked at these things? Is he considering this? Give me case law, give me precedents. That. Also, press releases and those kinds of things. I have a publicist, an agent, that will write the press release for me and will send it out to all of the trades. I don't have to pick up the phone and get on the phone with a publicist and do those things as I used to do back in the day. It's bot to bot. So it's communicating with another bot anyway. So if it's something that trade would pick up, it's going to pick it up. So the publicist is going to do that for me. So those are just some of the things. And someone said on the panel, I wish I could just give you a list of every single thing, but at the very least, at minimum, use ChatGPT, use Claude, use Perplexity.
I gotta say this really quick. If you're looking to do a proof of concept, because this came to my mind, C-Dance is upgraded, and so 1.5 turned into 2.0. C-Dance is amazing. I mean, just the look of everything. How many of you guys are building a proof of concept, or you're looking to shoot a trailer or a teaser or anything? You can end up doing that. Subscriptions, be careful on subscriptions because they can get a little bit expensive.
I also wanted to just share one other thing, because I didn't go through my list, but I do want to just give you guys some insight, because we are part of the film and entertainment industry. When they were mentioning, like, proposals coming in, decks, presentations coming in, I've sat at studios, networks, I get pitched a lot of things. It's becoming very evident these days of who's using more of the technology and who's not, because if you're still doing your presentations the older way, and then there are people coming in with way more advanced presentations, it's obvious. And it's not that your idea is not better than theirs, it's just that they're using more advanced technology. We have directors coming in and putting together their cinematic visions with AI, and then there's other directors coming in still doing it the old way. And so I just wanted to give you guys that comparable of when they mentioned Mike earlier, it's not that some of these people are more talented or more knowledgeable, they're just embracing the technology that's advancing the communication of what they need to put out about their business, about their product, or about their vision. And then one other thing to highlight as well, because I'm dealing with so many different industries, a lot of the bigger companies that maybe you may be seeking to do business with, they're now data-driven. They're now using it as well. So there are certain tools that if you're willing to invest in yourself a little bit more, you can be as competitive as they are. So the sports entertainment company that I work for, Stoke Bros, we use the same predictive analysis products that Sony, Universal are using. So when we're going to distributors saying, we know how it's going to perform, this movie is going to perform internationally, we know how it's going to perform domestically, and we know how it's going to perform in the theaters. We're giving them the same numbers that they would get. So our level of pitch and presentation with them is at the scale of what a Sony or Lionsgate would do, even though we're not technically Sony or Lionsgate. So a perfect example of that is like Synalytics or Logic AI. Like, these are AI tools that you run your script through and you put different elements about what is part of that movie or that package, and it will give you a predictive analysis of what it would perform like in different countries around the world, what it would perform like in the US, domestically, streaming, or theatrical. So imagine if you are a screenwriter and you run your script through that, and then you go pitch to a production company with those numbers and analytics. That they can't tell you that it won't perform, that it won't do well if you have the numbers to prove it, because they're using the same platforms. One other thing to highlight as well is for other independent filmmakers, there are tools like Flawless, where it will take your product and you can dub it and do lip sync with it in 37 other languages. And you can do this in record timing. So if you have a film that is already produced, you can then change the language of it and have the actors match that native tongue and that native language, and then distribute it in the Philippines, in Brazil, speaking Portuguese, in Italy, speaking Italian. So these are the different types of things that, again, if you're willing to invest in yourself and do a subscription to Flawless, that can then expand something that maybe you did release locally that's not performing as well, but if you release it in Japan, it may be the hottest girl in the club, right? So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a different framework of how different AI tools really can work for independent companies and independent filmmakers.
I mean, I honestly have so many more questions. I feel like this panel could go on for an hour more to really dig into all of the specific tools, but we are running out of time and we're sort of out of time. If there's one question, because I hate to leave without allowing a little Q&A, one pressing question anyone has? You can, all right, yes. Stand and project.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kiara. I'm a cinematographer here in Atlanta. So, say you already have your short film or feature that's already done and complete. How can you use AI tools to then push your product or push your project out to the public, whether it be like marketing your project and making sure that people see it? You know what I mean?
I know some of the marketing queens here definitely have some tips for you, but I just wanted to highlight that you can also use it for information outreach for different film festivals, things of that nature. So if you're looking for different types of distribution, you can do a film festival search, see which ones it works, it's a match for, and then obviously if you have an agent, it can then submit it for you. So that's just one quick one that's not on the marketing side, but that will expand your distribution reach.
As a person who's been marketing films forever and ever, I would say that there's not a simple answer to that question, but what I would say to you is that films, they touch people on a personal level, right? And when you have made a film that you are proud to stand behind, the first thing you should do is just think about who this film is for, right? Because everything is not for everybody. That's the first step in marketing. Who are we talking to with this content? And then once you decide who that is, like who's gonna be touched by this? Are there themes of sisterhood? Are there themes of just the show that just came out on Wednesday on Apple TV? It is straight just messy, scandal, sex lies, betrayal, backstabbing, all of that. Who really loves that type of stuff? So you just have to look at the themes that are in the content, right? And then the best way that AI can help you is for you to ask it for, I need to get in front of people who are interested in these 5 themes that are portrayed in the film. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to ask for civic groups, affinity groups, community groups, and get it out there, especially if you don't have a large marketing budget and if you don't have distribution. So what you want to do is create these partnerships that are going to help you to get it in front of people who are invested in the same content that is in that film, right? And then you can take it from there because you'll build a groundswell of people who are just talking about it. Now, if you have, let's say you pitched your film for some limited distribution, right? Like through one of those AMC deals where they give you like 10 or 15 screens across the country. You'll get in front of more people, but they're not going to help you market it. They are saying, I'll give you a place to put it, you get the people to the theater, and then your job is different. That time, you're going to those 15 cities and you're saying, in these cities only, who can I partner with to fill that theater because I have at least 15 screens I can get it in front of. And there are limited runs for a lot of films that have gone on to grow in momentum. That's the thing about a film is that you have to grow the momentum when you don't have a large budget. And AI, every step of the way, you're going to be using it as a strategist. Act as a film marketing strategist or a community-driven strategist to help me grow a conversation within this community. Like, this is a great community, National Urban League is a great community to start conversations, and generally, just ask it for a list of community groups and places like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be people who are interested in careers in film, or even people who consider themselves like, film groups or anything like that. A lot of times you can extract the theme that's in the film and find people who are into that. I hope that helped.
Yeah, that was very, very helpful. Okay, everyone, well, this was a wonderful panel. I hope you all got a lot out of this, and our panel will and then yes, we'll go to your next